Welcome to the Reg Age Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle. Today we're joined by strongman competitor Sturgeon Anderson, who just went to, I believe, your first America's Strongest Man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was my
Yeah.
first. Yeah.
Okay. I have an opening question for you. Did your parents know when they were naming you that they were giving you quite possibly the greatest strongman name? It's right up there. There's Magnus for Magnuson, Hafthor Bjornsson, but Sturgeon Anderson's a solid name.
We lucked out with that because originally my name was gonna be Garrett, and my dad stepped in and he was like, "Let's try Sturgeon," and it just worked out. I grew to be large. I've always been big,
Huh?
and
Yeah, yeah.
now we're here. It just worked out.
Yeah, and you're definitely a big dude. I know I met you at Dungeon Strength there for the show and everything, and I was like, "This is a large man. He's
Just a
posing
big boy.
He's a big boy." Okay, so questions. Did your sport career start with the Canby Cougar football team, or did you do sports when you were real little too?
So the only sport I did before going to Canby. I used to originally live in Colton, Oregon. Which probably has like 50 people that live there.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
super
a
tiny town.
very
Yeah.
small town. I played for like a little league baseball team before I moved to Canby, and then in Canby, yeah, it was for the Canby Cougars. I did baseball, basketball, and football.
And I saw some highlights and stuff. I saw a lot of pictures. You definitely hit your growth spurt before you made it to high school because you looked like the only adult man on the field in some of those photos.
Yeah, yeah. I was a big kid. So my first year of football would have been third grade, and I swear I had to have been like 185,
Yeah.
175, something like that, and probably already 5 feet tall
Uh-huh.
by that point. I was a pretty big kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then after high school, did you have like a interest or prospects to keep doing any sports, post high school, post collegiately or anything?
Yeah, so originally I wanted to go play college football, and I was gonna go play at Western Oregon, or there was a college down in I think it was Redding, California. It was a D3 school. I was gonna go play down there, but I kind of got burnt out doing football. I played it for 9 years, and I did 12 football seasons because I played for a traveling football team as well, and I just got burnt out. I wanted to find something new, and I found strongman. Me and my dad would watch the Strongest Man History show, and I thought it was like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
And I wanted to try strongman and got into it.
What a hell of a career highlight for those guys, like for Nick and Brian, like being able to just like go travel around the world and
Yeah,
do strongman events and stuff. Like
that
what a
is just the
cool
coolest
opportunity.
thing. It's just
Uh-huh.
the coolest thing. Just go do historical lifts
Uh-huh.
and just see what happens.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's a pretty cool experience. And so I saw when I was going back trying to find some, highlights from your competitive career, it was basically just like, as far as I could tell, it was like football straight to training at Kabuki. How did that end up happening?
Yeah. So the day I had to decide whether or not I was going to go play football or not,
Hmm.
I found Kabuki and I saw that they had strongman equipment and they had strongman coaches there. I was like, let me
Yeah,
just
and
go check this out.
not just any strongman coaches and not just any strongman equipment, but they're one of the, best strength programs on the
Yeah.
planet, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I went and checked out their gym that was in Portland, and I just fell in love with the place immediately. I was like, I do want to try strongman,
Yeah.
and so I get home, I have a conversation with my dad for a couple hours. I'm like crying because like I'm just giving up football at this point because I didn't want to play it anymore. I just want to try something else. I was like, I will fully commit to doing strongman if
Hmm.
you just give me the opportunity. And he was like, Yeah, dude, just do what you want to do. And we just full sent it, and it's worked out pretty good so far.
Yeah, one of my all-time favorite sayings is find what you love and let it kill you, and I believe in that, like if
Oh yeah,
there's, something that you feel like you got to be doing, you should be doing it. That's just the nature of the beast. Unless
yeah.
it's like meth or heroin or something, don't do that.
Yeah, then you should probably stop doing that. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
oh, go ahead.
No.
Okay. So, I also found out that you had your own show for a little while. You had the Big Boy podcast that you did with a buddy.
Yeah.
What was the impetus for doing your own show and moving on and everything, What was that like for you?
No, it was just something that we wanted to do, have fun with. So the guy that I did that with is my buddy Rob. He's been my best friend since third grade. He actually moved up to Washington with me when I moved
Nice.
up here. We just wanted to do that for a while and just see what happens. I like doing content, I like creating content.
Mhm.
We did like I want to say we did like 15 or 16 episodes or something like that.
Yeah.
Had a good time. We brought some people on. We brought like Jeff Walling on to promote his show, The Ugly Sweater, all that stuff. It was a good time. And then I just got burnt out. We both got burnt out on it, and we just moved on.
Yeah, it can be hard to do the podcast thing. Like there's a lot for every hour that you get to spend having really cool conversations, there's quite a bit of behind the scenes just
Oh
pushing
yeah,
pushing
bunch of
gears.
research. You want to get your facts right. You want to do all this stuff
Mhm. Yeah,
when you
yeah.
go into doing podcasts.
Yeah. Okay, so how long were you training at Kabuki for?
It would have been just over a year, I think. I
Yeah.
trained at Kabuki, and after about a year of working with my first coach, I just didn't think it was the right fit. Along with a couple other factors, I just moved on, and
Mhm.
I decided to move to a kamikaze gym down in Salem
Okay.
right after they had just opened. I already knew a bunch of the guys there. Like I knew Andrew, I knew Kate, I knew a bunch of guys there that I had met through like Oregon Strongest Man and stuff. And they had all the equipment I needed down there. They had more than Kabuki had
Mhm.
when it came to strongman equipment.
Right.
And it was only a 20-minute longer drive than driving up to Portland. I kind of lived like perfectly in between
Yeah.
Portland and Salem. It was like dead in the middle, so it wasn't that big of a difference. Yeah, train at Kamikaze for a little over a year as well.
Yeah.
That was a good gym.
So how long after you went and tried it out did you do your first show?
Oh man, so I started. It would have been I think July, and my first show was in December of 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you have
so
a long run up to it? Like did you pick it out early and then you had a long time to prepare?
I had sat in a Zoom call with my coach, and we had looked at shows. Found that show, found The Ugly Sweater,
Mhm.
which was my first show. I was the only person in that class, as it would have been the 200 plus teen
Yeah.
category.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, we just had a good like 5 month build up to that show, and just sent it
One.
and had a good time. Yeah, won. Yeah, yeah. Nobody else stood a chance, but no, it was a great time.
Were
Yeah,
you like immediately in love after doing your first show? Were you like, "Oh yeah, I'm sticking with this?"
yeah. I knew doing my first show, it was gonna be a make it or break it for me, like whether or not I actually enjoyed doing the thing. And even though I was the only person in there in my group, I was still competitive because I was watching all these other guys do
Uh-huh.
bigger weights and all this stuff. And I just fell in love with it right away. And at that show, I got convinced to sign up for Oregon Strongest Man, which was in March of that 2022. And so just show after show after show, and then Rainier. And it was very fast going into these bigger shows.
Yeah.
I probably should have slowed down a little bit, but I was having too much fun.
Yeah, I mean, if the wheels don't fall off, then why not?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. We're
Yeah.
young. We're young.
Yeah, take advantage of that youth.
Hmm.
Uh-huh. So I know I saw Kabuki. What'd you say the next gym was that you went to?
Kamikaze.
Kamikaze. I saw Zoe's Dojo and I saw Dungeon Strength. So like you've kind of been hitting all the big gyms between, here in California for places to train.
Yeah, just keep upgrading every single time I move to a new gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been a great experience. I learned the basics at Kabuki. I worked on more events when I was at Kamikaze. At Kamikaze and Zoe's Dojo were at the same time because Zoe's Dojo was out of Jeff Walling's garage, and he literally has every single piece of gym equipment you would ever need when it comes to strongman stuff.
All just smashing his garage.
Yeah, it's crazy how much stuff that he has. And then after that, I moved up here to train up here at Dungeon, and
Mhm.
this is a fantastic gym.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, I mean I've only been over 2 or 3 times, but like it's a great space. They got all the toys. It's really fun to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So as you were going through it, like, do you feel like there's like big takeaways? Most of us do sports because we love it or we're good at it or whatever. But there's always like something that's super, super meaningful usually that we get out of it. Was there something super useful that you got out of football that you can apply to strongman? Do you think?
Man, I would say just my competitive drive because I didn't want that to burn out after high school, right?
Hmm.
That's the only reason I wanted to go play football. It's just so I could say I was still competing,
Hmm.
doing stuff. But having that competitive drive that I've had for literally my entire life, being able to carry that on into doing strongman and doing, in my opinion, way cooler things in strongman than football. Because football, after 4 years of college, I know damn sure I wasn't going to go play in the NFL. I'd be screwed, be in the same position that I was when I was 18, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I probably would have fell into strongman anyway, but just 4 years later. But yeah, just my competitive drive and just being able to fulfill something that my younger self wanted to fulfill was trying to become a pro athlete. I think I can actually become a pro athlete in strongman. In football, there was no chance. There was no
Yeah.
chance I was going to be one.
Yeah, football is a super competitive space, and it is, it's interesting to see things like, Blaine Sumner, right? One of the best powerlifters ever, just, he couldn't make it quite over the threshold, to make it to the next step. And so just being phenomenally strong isn't a guarantee that you're going to make it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You have to have that drive. And you have to have the want to become something that you want to become.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get burnt out, dude, you're screwed. You can't get burnt out when doing this stuff.
No, and that's probably true in anything that you're doing, right? There's no greatness that happens on the backside of not wanting to be there.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So, what ended up bringing you up to Dungeon Fitness, Dungeon Strength?
I had done Rainier in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably the biggest I ever was, body weight wise. The heaviest I ever saw on the scale was 476. I want to say 476 or 478. Big boy. I guarantee at one point I was probably over 480 because I didn't check my weight very often.
Yeah.
So I go do Rainier in 2024. Absolutely bomb out the show. The first event was barbell overhead. Like you had to clean it from the floor, do a continental clean or whatever you had to do. And I bombed out. I think I only got 390 on that, which I was pretty confident I was gonna be able to get like 415, 420, something like that on it.
Right.
Mentally just checked out right after that because the rest of the events sucked for me. And at this point, I had no coach. I had no coach for 2 years at this point.
Yeah.
I was just doing everything on my own, which is ridiculous. I don't even know how I got this strong doing everything on my own. It was actually ridiculous. But after I bombed out the show, like 2 weeks after the show, I go ahead and just message Alec. I had met him a couple times just at Rainier. I think he knew who I was, kind of. But I was like, I just gotta send it. I need a coach. He coaches Lucas. Lucas is where I want to be at.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Let's just see what he says. And he finally messaged me back. He's like, yeah, let's set up a Zoom call. Get this figured out. I'd be willing to coach you for, it would have been SMO, or it would have been, SMO, the first year that was the strongest man on earth, or second year was strongest man on earth.
Yeah.
And I was doing the open class, and he was like, even though it's only 8 weeks of prep, I'll still coach you, see what happens. And we get the ball rolling. And I think 4 weeks into training with him, he tells me to come up to Dungeon and have like a training day with Lucas and all those guys. And great training session, do like circus dumbbell, all that stuff. And afterwards, Alec pulls me aside. He's like, what do I need to do to convince you to move up here?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not going to get anything done being away from training up here in this group. Like, this group is phenomenal. They were trying to start a training group with Lucas, so he has training partners and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. My dad's moving down to Texas in like a year. You know, I kind of want to move down with him. My dad's like my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of hard moving away from him. But I was like, I probably could do it after Shaw. He was like, okay, I really want you to move up here. Just keep it in mind. I think you would do great things if you moved up here. And then we go do Shaw. At that point, I was probably 460. I lost 20 pounds. I definitely had lost weight at that point, but I was still in the upper 400s. And literally a week after Shaw, I move up to Washington with my best friend from 3rd grade.
Yeah. You did the show and you couldn't give it up.
Couldn't give it up, dude.
Yeah.
Like, just having just a couple training sessions with him and Lucas and a couple of the other guys that were up here at that time, it just completely convinced me. I was like, there's gonna be no better training group to train with than these guys. And being surrounded by guys who are at the place that I want to be at in the future,
Mm-hmm.
I might as well surround myself with those guys.
Yeah. And you guys, I mean, you got a really good, program there. You got some guys up there who have been in strongman for a long time. Alec is obviously an amazing coach. Lucas is arguably, he's in competition for the strongest man walking the planet right now,
Yeah.
So it's a pretty cool place to be.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. And so I moved up here. It was like September 12th or 13th or something like that. A couple months later, Sarah Johnson moved up here. And that's another athlete to be. It's a great athlete to be surrounded by because she's also a
She
pro.
just won America's Strongest Under 74.
Yeah, just won America's, which is crazy. one
Yeah.
of the best 73s on the planet right now. It's pretty cool. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool being surrounded by those two, being able to pick their brains and learn from them and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, great team. Okay, so I try to do some like research before we have guests on, right? And
Mhm.
usually I have a lot of questions about their sport career and all that kind of stuff, but I'm really curious about two or three things, and it's mostly the content that you make on the side. So the first one is, when are you going to do a full-time strongman cooking show? Because the food looks good.
Yeah. Um, no, I need to get back into making cooking videos. I learned how to cook from my dad. My dad was a chef when he was younger,
Okay.
both in San Diego and in Hawaii when he lived there. And just over the years, I learned how to cook from him. I feel like I'm not a bad cook, and making those cooking videos, I have a good time. But in the recent couple, probably month and a half or two, I've just been doing so many shows
Yeah.
and prep. I'm trying to do streaming at the same time, all
Uh,
that stuff. And so I've just been kind of slacking on that. But I need to get back into it because
yeah, yeah.
people like that stuff.
It's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Second question. You got some alter egos. So my favorite is Peanut Butter Kid, Billy, you know? Which one is real? Is Sturge the real Sturgeon, or is it Peanut Butter Kid?
Dude, it's a mixture of every single one of those guys. It just depends on how my mood is during the day. Like, every single one of those guys will come out at some point.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
You got some
yeah,
pretty great stuff on there.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, every single one of those personalities is like, those are things that I think are just hilarious, and those are things I would just do at random points in time.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's just record this, see what happens. And you over exaggerate a couple things, like putting peanut butter all over myself. That was a bit ridiculous, but it's still pretty funny.
Yeah, yeah, you got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I also saw it looks like you can play guitar. When did you decide you want to learn how to play guitar?
Oh, I started learning how to play guitar. It would have been freshman year of high school.
Mhm.
I just wanted to have another hobby to do while I was doing football.
Mhm.
Because at that point, I had quit doing baseball and basketball. I was just too big. So I only did football. I did a little bit of throwing and track and field. And then I wanted to do guitar, so I started taking guitar lessons, having fun with that. I'm not good at it, but I have a good time. I can play along with songs and all that stuff. So
Mm.
you know,
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah. I think it's good to have, like, I like that you were trying to find stuff to fill up your day. My oldest boy just started high school, and I told him, I was like, you got to pick a thing. I don't care what you do, but you got to do something. And so, he did golf. He's going to do swim in the winter. And, it makes your life better when you got stuff to fill it up with, you know?
Yeah, you need to like occupy yourself throughout the
Hmm.
day. You can't
Yeah.
just be sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah.
That doesn't help anybody.
Nope.
No,
Not even a little bit.
no.
Okay, so when you were doing, like college or high school sports and stuff, playing football and basketball and everything, is that when did you like fall in love with the barbell? When did you start lifting? When did you start training?
So this is crazy, right? I hated lifting throughout the entirety of high school. Like I would do when we had like training camps or whatever.
Hmm.
I would go in the gym, just do what they told me to do. I
Hmm.
wouldn't go out of my way to go to the gym at all whatsoever. So when I decided to not go play football in college, I was kind of just setting at that point because I really didn't ever go to the gym.
Yeah.
So that was like the deal I made with my dad. It was like, I'm gonna pursue strongman, but also I'm gonna make myself healthier by just going to the gym and
Yeah.
learning how to do this stuff. Because in high school, like I did my mandatory lifting classes or whatever, but outside of that, never went to the gym, never worked
Yeah.
out. Yeah,
It is funny. Like, I know I have this conversation a lot with kids because I'm a high school teacher, and so I work with kids a lot, obviously. And I have the conversation a lot. Like, I realize that you fell in love with tennis or football or basketball or whatever, and you're not in love with the weight room. It doesn't mean the weight room's not still amazing for you.
yeah. I learned that after high school. I feel like if I went into the weight room more often, I probably would have been a better football player. I just didn't, just never did. I was pretty pudgy
Hmm.
coming out of high school. I mean, my senior year, I was 385. Like I was still pretty big,
Yeah.
you know, but I had like no muscle on me. It was just
Yeah.
straight fat. Not
Yeah.
good.
Not the kind of 385 you want to be.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So you kind of fell in love with the weight room then, just on account of starting and leaning into strongman.
Yeah, yeah. Because the first 2 months of training was just learning the basics. So learning bench, squat, deadlift, all that stuff, and just doing those over and over again, I just kind of fell in love with it. I kind of fell in love with the pain
Uh-huh.
and just getting better. I thought it looked cool. I felt cool doing it, and I haven't lost that so far.
I
So,
remember when I first started lifting weights, my brother had been doing it real seriously for a few years. And so
mhm.
I asked him, I was like, will you take me in and teach me how to lift? He says, sure, yeah, no problem. And so we go in on a Monday and I'm like, what are we going to be doing? He's like, well, Monday's International Bench Day, so we'll do some bench press. And we opened the door to the weight room and every bench was full. And so he looks at me and he goes, squats. And he made me do like, like we did 135, it went okay. We did 185, it went okay. We did 225. And then it was one of those things where he kept being like, oh, that looked pretty good. Let's do two more. Let's do two more. Let's do
Mhm.
two more. And like, I ended up doing like 15 reps or something with 225. My first time ever touching a barbell. And I was so sore for like the next 2 weeks. And
Oh, yeah.
I had to go back. I could not do it again.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah.
Going back and just training gets rid of the soreness for at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
warm up a little bit, you're good. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So you fell in love with the suffering. I like to hear that. That's always good because if we can embrace the suck, it's usually easier to be successful.
Yeah, pretty much everything training, it's gonna suck, especially if you're trying to be the best at one point.
Hmm.
It's gonna suck. It's not gonna be fun. If you're having too much fun in the gym, then like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? You're not going hard enough.
Yeah. 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 Did you, when you started lifting, were you like, what was you're a couple months into lifting, what was your like comparison, like when you get done with your first few months and you've learned how to squat and learned how to bench and learned how to deadlift, like for real, with you got real coaches, you're in a great facility. um did you look back at your high school lifting and and have the moment where you were like, oh, I never really was doing anything, or did you feel like the stuff you did before was pretty productive, or what was the reflection there between like doing it in earnest and just going through the motions?
Dude, I didn't get a damn thing out of training in high school. I was just there just to be there, just so I could get the grade for the class.
Yeah.
Yeah, after the first couple months, I look back, I was like, dude, if I would have actually trained in high school, I would have been a monster on the football field.
Uh-huh.
Um, it was at that point, I was like, dude, maybe I should go back to play college football now that I've actually trained for a couple months to see what happens. But at that point, I was like, let's just send it in strongman, see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't go play college football because I can't even stand watching football anymore. I'm completely burnt out on the sport.
It is interesting how that happens, how sometimes you just have your fill and it's time to move on.
Yeah, but I love playing the sport. Like I would go out and play the sport right now.
Hmm.
Watching it, can't stand it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I know it became really apparent to me as a high school athlete that lifting weights was a necessity. Track was my sport, and like I'd go throw against some of the really, like the best in the country at the time, and they
Mhm.
were all just monsters. Like it was really clear to me by the end of my sophomore year that if I didn't start lifting weights, I was gonna just get trampled.
Yeah. 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 I think for me, I was just so big
Hmm.
that like I was like, I don't need to do training. I'm
Hmm.
strong enough. I could manhandle these guys, and it kind of worked. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I played a pulling guard. The biggest kid on the field was a pulling guard, which is kind of
Yeah.
ridiculous. But I mean, I was somewhat fast for being almost 400 pounds, and I was able to manhandle these dudes. But if I would have done more training, I think I would have been a lot better. Yeah.
What was it like to get into it? Like obviously you're a big guy, you've got some real talent for it. Like did you find out right away that you have some things that are your lifts that are that are kind of your bread and butter for the competition space?
Oh yeah. I would say overhead,
Mhm.
like log especially. Love log. Circus dumbbell. Love circus dumbbell. That's honestly probably my favorite overhead is circus dumbbell. I found that my best lift early on was probably stones
Mhm.
because we had a stone to shoulder in that first show, and even though it was only 225, I still got like 8 reps or something like that on it. And I was like, oh, I'm pretty decent at stones, pretty decent at loading stuff. Front squats, on the other hand, I suck at. I'm pretty sure I can load more than I can front squat right now, which is ridiculous. But yeah, loading and overhead are my forte.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would have guessed by looking at you that overhead was your thing because you're about 4 feet wide and 2 feet thick. So I would have thought like this guy's gonna be real good at, you know, I mean, you almost can just like take a nap with a log up here.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the one thing that I haven't lost so far when losing weight is that I can still breathe with the log on my chest.
Uh-huh.
that's a game changer because you can actually get a solid brace when it's on your chest. For
Yeah.
a lot of guys, if you can't breathe right here, you're screwed because you have to brace when
Mhm.
it's in your lap, and
Mhm.
then that's a solid 7 seconds before you go for the press. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing how much though. So you were kind enough to come judge a little at the More Power show. So that was my first competition, and I definitely realized that there's a lot of these things where the details on how you approach them matter a ton. Like, did a deadlift for reps, and as I started getting up like 12, 13, 14 reps, I started to realize like I just can't brace anymore. Like I haven't given myself enough time to breathe in between reps, and
Mm-hmm.
I think I did like 14 reps in the first 30 seconds, then ended with 16 and was like just,
Gassed
and it was
out.
just like my trunk was cooked.
Yeah. 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 You definitely learn fast if you're bad
Mhm,
at something when doing
mhm.
an event for the first time.
Yep.
Uh, I I learned this at America's a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
When doing the keg load, I'm good at regular keg load, but when you have to walk the thing in, I was like 50-50 whether or not I could just one motion that thing over the bar, the 375. I should have just trusted my gut and sat down with it. But yep, that was a learning experience for me. Next time I'm sitting down with the keg.
Yeah, yeah, and just getting a better grip and hoisting
Yeah,
it and everything.
yeah, because I was just gassed out at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it was a regular keg load, we're good. We're
Mhm.
solid. Don't have to walk that thing in. We're good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are, and so many of those decisions that you're making are gonna depend too on like where you're at. Like if you're late in the heat and you know what you need to do to be successful, you might be like, "Oh yeah, I got plenty of time. I can sit each one of these down." And if you're going early, you might be like, "Well, I gotta try."
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, that was just a full send thing because I was in like 15th or something
Mhm.
like that. I was like, you know what? Let's just send it and see what happens. Managed to not get last in the show. That's all that matters.
Uh-huh.
But like, yeah, if I was going last in the heat, like I was contending for podium,
Yeah.
and I knew I could take my time a little bit, that would have been a lot better. It's a lot better position to be in.
Yeah, yeah. When I was at the More Power show, I was lucky to go last for my group, and so I knew exactly what I had to do, and it definitely would have done it differently if I was going first, and probably wouldn't have made as much progress.
Yeah, I've only been in that position once, and it was on log at Rainier this year because I opened at 375, and the best log prior to that was 355.
Yeah,
It's the only position I've been in where I just knew what I had to do.
yeah,
Outside that, not very good.
yeah. Are you doing Rainier again this year?
Yeah, I would prefer to do the pro am.
Okay.
We'll just see what happens. I don't have my pro card. The one time I go to nationals, I podium there is the one year where podium doesn't get pro cards, only first. So still technically not a pro. I do have an invite to Americas though, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah, that's real cool.
But yeah, I'd like to do the Rainier Pro Am this year. It'd be a fun show just to come back and have a little bit of redemption because the last time I did the Pro Am, I got like 12th out of 13 guys or something like that. So
Hmm.
just to place like top 7 at the Rainier Pro Am would be like stellar for me. I'd be so excited to do for if I got that placing.
Yeah, yeah,
But
it's a pretty serious show. Like, there's a lot of people come out the woodwork for Rainier.
oh yeah, dude, yeah. Every year there's just a couple beasts that just run away with the show.
Uh-huh.
Like Zach Price, he's done it every year that I've done Rainier. Jasper Haney, he's also a beast when he shows up. Dylan Thompson, who just won Rainier this year, he's a fucking beast when he shows up too.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of good guys in the Pacific Northwest right now.
yeah, yeah. It is crazy the level of competition that strongman is developing. Like you can be a pretty freaky guy and show up and not have very much success.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of guys that are good at only a couple events,
Uh-huh.
and then they bomb out on 2 of the events, and they have no chance of getting that podium spot. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens more often than not. I feel like it's pretty rare to have an athlete who's consistently good at every single event. Just
Mhm.
like a B plus athlete.
Mhm.
If you place top 4 on every event, you could end up winning the show. You know, it's pretty crazy. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and there's been a few big titles that have kind of gone that way. The last couple that Zadrunas won, there was like, he's like a second and a third and a fifth and a second and and then takes the whole show just on
yeah,
points.
yeah. Just being
Yeah.
consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love
Yeah.
to be that athlete. Just be consistent at every single event.
So, what do you need to do to be that athlete? What's the
I
overhead press is your baby. What do you got to work on?
I need to improve my squat and my deadlift.
Okay.
Improve my squat will help with pretty much every single lift,
Uh,
and my deadlift has just I feel like my technique's gotten better on deadlift, but as I've lost weight, the weight of my deadlift has also gone down.
yeah.
So I need to improve that quite a bit.
Yeah,
But
it's always
everything
hard.
else, my grip is up there. My grip's
Yeah.
pretty good. I feel like arm over arm's good, stones are good, bags are good. Well, throwing bags suck. I need to work on that too. But yeah,
Yeah. Throwing bags are it's a really interesting thing. Like, you talk about people being good at a few events. There's not very many events where like speed is really a determining factor. Like certainly in the loading events and, pushes and pulls, like it definitely helps to be fast. But if you're strong enough, you can kind of get through it anyway, right? But speed is non-negotiable in the sandbags, right? And so
yeah,
you kind of
yeah.
gotta get that developed. Gotta have it.
I would prefer having like a sandbag, like ladder or whatever you would call it, or a
Hmm.
sandbag run,
Hmm.
instead of like a max height or a max weight.
Yeah.
But the only sandbag I've never actually had a regular sandbag run. I don't think. Oh, maybe the first Oregon's I had a regular sandbag run. But besides that, it's always been like sandbag for distance,
Uh-huh.
or it's been max weight sandbag. Yeah, I don't like it.
All right, so you've made it to the point now where you're going to Americas, right? Which is a real, like, that's a serious competition. So have you had to put like more thought into how many shows you're going to do a year and how often you're going to show up for competitions and stuff? Or are you still just like, if there's a show on a Saturday, you're going to be there and have a good time? Or where are you at right now in your planning for your years?
No, I think this is like I think the perfect amount of shows to do in a year is like 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
Anything more than that, you're gonna get burnt out, especially if they're heavier shows. I'm not. I think I'm past the point now where I would just go to a show on a random weekend and just see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be pretty selective with what I do, and I mean it's worked out this year, right? I think I did 3 shows this year, and ended up getting to America's Strongest Man, which is
Yeah.
crazy. If I
Yeah.
would have done like 5 different shows, I don't think I would have made it. I think I would have sucked at nationals if I did more shows than just Rainier before nationals.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just being very selective of what I do, and I think it'll work out in the long run. Like next year, I have the Arnold Pro Am, I have Rainier. I'll probably do nationals again if I don't get my pro card, and then after that, maybe Americas again. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have to see
Yeah.
what happens. We just play it by ear.
Yeah.
See how the body's feeling.
How long do you feel like you're recovered yet from going to Americas? Like, how long do you feel like it takes you to bounce back from a show? I mean, I know you're
Probably,
young, so you got that on your side, but
yeah. That week after the show, I felt terrible.
yeah.
But this week's my week 1 of my off season, and I felt pretty good so far. I'd say the beginning of the week I was pretty rough, but now I feel fine. So yeah, like a week and a half after a show, I'm pretty recovered, good to go.
Do you have any advice for people who are like thinking about competing? Because you had some pretty good performances, and you're pretty new to it. Like your first meet's still pretty fresh, right?
Mhm.
It's not that long ago.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for people on just making it through a show? Because I was real surprised to find out that after my second event, I had a pretty good like runner's high going, and I was ready to go take a nap and eat some food, and then I still had 3 more events to go.
Yeah,
It got pretty rough at the end.
yeah. I would honestly like it's a mental game when it
Uh-huh.
comes to this stuff. You can't mentally clock out, and a lot of the times the events aren't gonna go the way you want it to go when you're getting into strongman, right? You're
Uh-huh.
gonna expect more out of yourself, and you're gonna get surprised when 4 events in, you're pretty tired. You're not gonna do well in that event. So just know it's a mental game. You can't
Mhm.
clock out. You just have to finish the show, do the best you can, move on. You learned,
Mhm.
work on it in the off season, come back next year, do the same show again, try to improve.
Just be prepared for the suffering.
Yeah, just be prepared. It's gonna suck. It's gonna suck. You're gonna be doing, 3 months of off season going into a prep for a show just to compete for 6 minutes.
Mhm.
It's gonna be the worst 6 minutes of your life, but you might as well have fun with it because you put in so much work and effort the last few months. You know what I
Uh,
mean?
yeah.
You just gotta have fun. You gotta have fun. You can't clock out. That's something I'm still learning right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know for the day, I tried to not get too far in a hole on like the for reps events and stuff. Like I tried not to do any epic grinders, just to like save a little gas for the rest of the show. Do you have any advice on like either if it's a, a max effort or max reps or a speed or power event? Like, do you have any advice on like how to approach it for like the rest of the show? Do you just like burn the tank all the way to empty on every event, or do you try to conserve a little for the events that are coming up, or how do you like to play the game?
So I would conserve a little bit. I just did this in Americas too on the deadlift, right?
Hmm.
700 on the deadlift would have been a pretty big PR on an axle deadlift from the floor.
Hmm.
And I got the first two. The second one was a little bit of a grinder. I go for the third. I break it off the floor, and I think I was out of position. My hips came up first, dropped it down, and I heard my coach. I heard Alec just screaming, "Nope, just save it. Just save it for the
Yeah.
rest of the show. You gotta save some energy for the rest of the events because even though you didn't do great on the event, right? Like let's say it was a deadlift ladder, and that would have been PR. You can make up points on the other events if you still have energy. If you just blow your entire load trying to lift this event or whatever it is, you're gonna be screwed for the rest of the show, and you're gonna lose points on other events that you might have been good on.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen a million times like coaching power lifters where they'll go for some epic grinder, on a squat and on a bench, and then even if they're like deadlift specialists, they'll end up pulling 20% under their max because they're just tired. They're
Yeah,
they're cooked.
yeah. You only have so much energy in a day, and you can get burnt out really fast, very fast. So you just have to be smart about it. You just have to know what your weaknesses are, what your strengths are, and you know, do the best you can. That's
Hmm.
the best advice. You know,
Yep.
yeah.
Do you have any in between event routines? Like, is it Sour Patch Kids and naps, or like what are you doing in between events to get ready for the next one?
So usually it's like a PBJ, like those Uncrustables, and one of those Gatorade electrolyte drinks.
Yeah.
I have one of those between every event, and I seem to keep my energy levels at pretty high throughout the entire show. Like at nationals, I felt great that entire time. But to be honest, I've only had like a coach who can like actually told me what to do in between events
Uh-huh.
for 3 shows so far. So, I'm still learning on what would be perfect for my body in between events, but that's been working out pretty good so far. An Uncrustable and one of those electrolyte drinks. Try to get that down fast before the next event, so it settles, and then you can go warm up and then all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you do you make it a point to try to watch the competitors when you're in a show, or do you just like retire to the recovery chamber?
It just depends. Like if it's right after an event, I will go sit down because
Hmm.
I don't want to burn my energy.
Hmm.
Um, but once I'm recovered, I will go out and watch because I just want to see how the other guys are doing.
Yeah.
Um, and just kind of see like, okay, I'm gonna get fifth on this event, or okay, my performance was not good. I got 12th. I just want to see how everybody else is doing, how I did against these guys. And then just go back and lock in and get ready for the next event.
Hmm. So, do you want to maybe like walk us through your Americas competition? Because we get to see highlights, right? I saw a lot of highlights on the Instagram and stuff, but I'm really curious about how it felt for you to go through the days, you know?
Yeah, so let's start at nationals first. So I qualified for nationals, placing fourth at Rainier in the
Hmm.
amateur show. It was not my greatest performance at Rainier. So we had a good 8 weeks, I think, prep going into nationals, and my goal for nationals was place top 15. I just want to place top 15. If I do any better than that, great. After the first day, I was sitting in fourth overall, and the first day was probably my worst events. So that already blew my goal out of the water. I just knew I just had to do what I knew I could do on day two. Go do day two, and going into the last event, which was the keg load over bar, I was sitting in third place by 1 point, separating first, second, and third.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Real
And so
tight.
I real tight. And I think fourth was like 8 points behind me. So I just knew that like if I could beat that guy, I'm podiuming.
Hmm.
I grind out 7 reps, which was on par with what I did in training because I did 3 reps in about 28 seconds or something like that. So
Hmm.
I knew if I was going fast, I could get 7 reps. Got 7 reps, ended up podiuming. I didn't know I qualified for Americas until a week after nationals. Lucas had brought it up. He was like, "Are you gonna do Americas?" I'm like, "I don't think I qualified." He's like, "No, you did. If you podium at nationals, you qualify for Americas." I was like, "I don't know. Let's talk to Alec." And I get all my friends to convince Alec to let me do Americas.
Hmm.
I had
So
a
you got
good
a
two
lobby
weeks.
campaign, like a write-in. Everybody sent him a letter, and
Yep. At Lucas, I had Sarah. I had all these people being like, "Just let him do it. Just let him have fun." So that was
yeah.
my one fun show of the year was Americas,
Hmm.
and had a good 2 weeks of prep for that. Go to Americas, and first event is so Americas and Nationals were basically the same events.
Mm-hmm.
So I was already prepped for the show.
Mm-hmm.
First event was the barbell overhead
Yep.
off of blocks,
Good
and
event for you.
it was a decent event for me. Yeah, I just hit a 15-pound PR at Nationals 4 weeks prior, and I wanted to go for 435 because I almost got it at Nationals. Originally, we were gonna get 4 attempts, but because we ran behind on time on day 1, we only got 3 attempts. So I
Mm-hmm.
kind of had to send it on my second attempt, go for 415, which would have matched my PR,
Mm-hmm.
and then go for 435 afterwards. Ended up not working out. That was the event where like I almost mentally clocked out. I was like, dude, I just screwed this entire event up. I could have gotten 415 if I would have done 395 prior. But I agree with my coach that like I needed to have that big jump if I wanted to try 435. Just didn't work out. The next event was the arm over arm. I love that hoist. We had that exact same hoist at Nationals. It was heavier, which was, in my opinion, way better. And I think I want to say I placed 8th on that event or something like that. With 18 seconds. Pretty good performance. I had a
Yeah.
good time with that.
Those ones are always so competitive too. Like 18
Yeah.
seconds might have been a quarter second away from first place, right? Like, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know, but they're snug.
Yeah, the only thing I would have changed on that event was that the people who were spotting with the rope, it wasn't consistent on both sides. You
Mm-hmm.
can't really be consistent on both sides if you're one there to be slack. The only thing I would say is just have both sides keep tension the whole time. That's the only way you're going to have it as even as possible, or have nobody be spotting and lower the weight a lot.
Yeah, yeah,
Just have the athletes do it on their own.
yeah.
But no, it was a good event. I had a bet with Lucas. Lucas actually made this bet on his podcast. It was if I beat him on that, he would have had to done a burpee going into the frame into dumbbell event, and he ended up beating me by like 6 seconds. So
Yeah.
he absolutely destroyed that event.
Yeah.
But we ran out of time on day 1, so we had to do 4 events on day 2. Day 2, we started off with the deadlift, arguably my worst event, right up there with sandbag toss. It was a 200-pound comp PR hitting that 665, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah.
On the deadlift.
And the axle bar is not forgiving.
No, it is not at all. It's actually the worst deadlift.
Yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know, the bar that you use on deadlift can make a really big difference because you don't get the eccentric load, the stretch into the lift. And so you use like a deadlift bar, there's a lot of give in it and it feels good. It's nice to have like just a quarter second to build some steam, but the axle bar doesn't go anywhere. It just sits there taunting you.
Yep, just sits there. It's like literally grabbing a soda can, strapping into a soda can and lifting 600 pounds. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I had to save energy on that event. 700 didn't work out. We moved on to that would have been this. It was either the sandbag toss or the circus dumbbell in the frame. I think it was circus dumbbell in the frame was the event after that. And I ended up getting the frame in like 8 seconds, which was huge. I was so happy about that. Because in training, I had done 755 for 40 feet in like 14 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And so being able to do that in 8 seconds was pretty sick. Ended up getting 1 rep on the dumbbell. Before I go for my second rep, my wrist strap falls off. I was like, I'm not going to waste time trying to put that back on. So I just sent on the second one. I misscrewed. My elbow dipped when I wanted to go for the press. It went out and then landed on its end, and all the plates fell out. The clips weren't great this time around. There were the same clips they used at Nationals, and people were dropping it on its end at Nationals, and it was doing just fine.
Uh-huh.
But 1 rep was still pretty good in there. I think I placed top 10 on the event. Then we moved on to sandbag toss.
What was the weight for the circus dumbbell?
Circus dumbbell was 220. It was the same weight as Nationals weight.
Okay.
And then the frame was 750, which was 100 pounds heavier than the Nationals weight. So they combined those 2 events into one, and then they added sandbag toss, which was the second to last event, I think. And the starting weight was 45 pounds. My best bag I ever did was 50 pounds.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit intimidating doing that. But I managed getting 52.5.
All right.
I almost got 57.5. It just hit the top both times in the exact same spot.
Yeah.
But 52.5 was a huge PR for last place. Got 1 point on the event.
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty happy about it. Can't complain. And then last event was the keg load. 350, 375, 400. You had to walk it in 25 feet before you load over a 52-inch bar.
Yeah.
And I got 2 of the kegs out of 3. The second keg I screwed up, trying to one motion it instead of sitting down the lap right before I get to the bar.
Yeah.
But we live and learn. Next time I know, I just got to get stronger and get better.
Yeah.
And then we ended off in 15th out of 18 athletes, I think.
Yeah.
So didn't get last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great show, and especially, like, you're so young in your strongman career still, and you got so much more time to grow, so, like, that's a great spot to be.
Yeah, I was talking to like Ortmeyer and a couple other guys there, who had been at that show for a while. We figured I was probably one of the youngest athletes to ever do that show, at least in the open class.
Mhm.
The only guy that we could confirm was younger than me was Kevin Nee.
Oh, yeah,
Back in
Kevin
like
was a beast.
yeah, back in 2006, he would have been 21 and a half, and
Yeah.
at this show I was 22 and a half.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm one of the youngest to ever do the show, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, Kevin was kinda like the I don't is it weird to say, like, the Novikov prototype or something? Like, he was real
100%.
young, real successful,
Yep.
real
Real young, real
explosive.
successful.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, got burned out pretty fast in his career.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like Novikov.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool, but that's like I mean, that's a hell of a space to share, Somebody's like, "Hey, you're showing up at the same time as Kevin Nee, you got us a good start."
Yeah, yeah. It was also really cool just being around all those guys that I'll be competing with in the
Mhm.
next, 5 years or whatnot,
Mhm.
and just being able to pick their brains and hang out with them and them showing me the ropes and you
Yeah.
know, yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool
Yeah.
experience. Made some friends. It was a good time.
Has that been pretty consistent at all the shows you've done that people are real helpful? Like, because, when I went to do the more power show, it was my first time ever doing a strongman competition. And even the guy who was, I was battling with, was just happy to give me advice on everything. And it was pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. I have yet to have a show where I didn't have. I've yet to have a show where I had a bad experience. It's all been just fantastic.
Yeah.
That's the good thing about strongman is that everybody's there. Yes, they're there to compete, but everybody's there also wishing everybody to do their best.
Uh huh.
I've yet to have a show where it's not like that. But yeah, the community is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so far it's been a really great experience. Because I won the more power show, I qualified for the national America's Strongest Masters. So
Okay. Yeah.
now I got to figure out how to get in shape for that.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about it. I'll probably come up and see you guys on a semi-regular dungeon, but I'm looking
Oh, there you
forward
go.
to it.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that'll be cool.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Rainier is Rainier typically kind of end of spring? Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah. It'll be like around May or June usually.
Hmm.
That's usually when Rainier happens.
Do you
Yeah.
think you'll have a show between now and then, or do you think that'll be your next show?
Yeah. I'll have the Arnold
Oh,
Pro
okay.
Am. That'll
Yeah, yeah,
happen in March.
yeah.
Same weekend as the regular Arnold Pro.
Will this
There's
be
gonna
your
be
first
thousands
Arnold?
there. Yeah. It will be my first Arnold competing.
All right.
I qualified for that through nationals,
Mm-hmm.
and pretty much our entire training group is competing there.
Yeah.
Me, Sarah Johnson, Lucas, and then my coach has like 6 other athletes also doing the open men, and then a couple of the women and all that stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be pretty cool. I'm,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
really excited for it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that one's a 2-day, right?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah. So I couldn't. I when I woke up the next day, I couldn't imagine doing another round of events after my
Yeah. Yeah.
after my first day.
America's was weird because the second day we had to do 4 events, which I've never done that before.
Yeah.
Having two days and the second day has twice as many events. That was a learning experience.
Yeah.
But I like 2-day shows for the most part. I haven't had a bad experience with those. Usually the one day shows where you have 5 events, those kick my ass more than
Oh,
than
okay.
the 2-day shows. Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering because I got up the next day, like I couldn't even hardly eat the next day. I was so
Mhm.
cooked. I was like, I just wanted to. It wasn't even that I wanted to lay down. Like I wanted to go, like back in the womb. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Just just leave me alone.
Yeah, yeah.
Just yeah.
Curl up and float away somewhere. I don't know if that's an option, but that's what I wanted to do. And so
Yeah.
I remember thinking like some people do 2 days, or like you go to World's Strongest and you do like
The
the
4-day
qualifying
show.
heat, and
Yeah.
then you have several days of competition, and I'm like, that's got to be just brutal.
Yeah. I can't even imagine, dude. One day we'll be there. I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's gonna be
I'm
rough.
looking forward to it. We'll do the post. We'll do the debrief for World's Strongest. Will just be like,
Yeah.
how terrible was it?
Miserable.
Yeah. So Arnold's is in March, and so it's out
About, yeah. So I'll have about a 10 to 12 week
5 months
off
out.
season.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then have a good 8 to 10 weeks of prep going into Arnold.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm
What's
pretty
your
excited for it.
What's your big push for the off season?
I don't know, man. Just to get better on my weaknesses. I know after this year what my weaknesses are. It's like I said, it's gonna be squat and deadlift. Get those better. Really
Yeah.
working on squats a lot, and then working on like actual events that I'm bad at. I need to work on my dumbbell technique a little bit because I've lost weight. My technique's gotten a little squirrely,
Uh-huh.
and then yeah, back toss, all that fun stuff. Axle deadlifts. I've yet to have a heavy axle clean and press. That'd be kind of cool if the Arnold brought that out. That'd be kind of sick. Or one of the shows next year brings that out. That'd be pretty dope.
They've got the, what did they do for like the first 2 years when Mark Henry was doing it? The one that doesn't turn at all?
Oh yeah, the fixed axle.
Huh?
Yeah, I forget what that's called. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Monstrous.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So a couple months of general prep, couple months to, peak for the show. What are you like, what's your next step? Like what is it that you're really shooting for? What is I mean, if you don't mind, some people like to keep it to themselves. So we can skip this question, but like what are you really what do you really dog it after?
Honestly, I'd love to get my pro card next year. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But just to do better than I did this year. Honestly, that's the main goal. I think it'll be a couple years before I qualify for anything like North Americas or Giants Live or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's got to be patient. It's got to
Yeah.
be patient, do better than I did this year, and I'd be extremely happy. So,
Yeah. It is
yeah.
amazing the level that the sport is at. I remember watching like Kwiatkowski just like crushing the Arnold and then coming in like dead last on the deadlift with an 880-pound deadlift, and it's
Yeah.
crazy that you've got to get to a 900-pound deadlift before you're even
Top 10.
hoping of making a point.
Yeah. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the just the standard level is just increased so much. It's just gonna be so much work just trying to get there.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, and I hope it keeps growing because it's just awesome to see. Yeah.
yeah. There's a lot of guys now that can pull like over 1,000 pounds, which is ridiculous. Because
Uh-huh.
10 years ago, there's what 3 guys maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Benny and why am I forgetting his name now? I'm going through it. I'm sick, so I have had a cold for a couple days, and I just got as loaded up on like cold medication and cough
Yeah.
drops and stuff as I could for the show. But now I'm a little woozy.
It's all good, dude. It's all good.
But yeah, there's just a couple, just a couple really, really big deadlifts.
Yeah.
Um, and it's also been nice. Like I feel like strongman has kind of like turned away from the ultra heavy. Like I feel like 17, 18, 19, they kind of like peaked on trying to kill people with weight.
Yeah.
And so I
Yeah.
think it's been a good transition. Like I feel like the sport's in a good spot in terms of what they are expecting out of their athletes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's getting a lot more fine tuned
Hmm.
when it comes to the bigger shows. Like you have 2 shows that are the heaviest, which would be Smo and
Hmm.
Arnold, and then you have Worlds and Rogue.
Hmm.
Rogue is like the perfect show because it's heavy, but it also has like its moving events and stuff
Uh-huh.
that you actually have to have good cardio for.
Yeah.
I think that's probably my favorite show. I would love to do that show is the Rogue, but yeah, the heavy shows are also fun. I'd love to do heavy shows.
So got to get that pro card. Got to show back up for Americas.
Yep, that'd be a goal. Just improve on this year.
Hmm.
Top 10 next year at Americas would be pretty sick. We'll just have to see what happens though. See how the body's feeling.
Are you still trying to lose weight?
Yeah. So I'm sitting at like 375, 378 right now. I want to get down to 365, and then we'll probably just sit there. I'll probably get down to that in the next week or two. I would imagine maybe 3 weeks,
Hmm.
and then just recomp, get stronger, try to maintain that weight. If I could say between 365 and like 380 for next year for all those shows, I'd be extremely happy.
Yeah. That's a
Yeah.
body weight that you could grow into for a couple years, probably, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being anything heavier than that, there's just no point. You're just gonna harm yourself when it comes to moving events and all that stuff. But yeah, no, I feel completely different now than I did when I was at 470 or 480. Yeah, losing 110 pounds or whatever. It's a game changer.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, that's that might be as big of an achievement as just like getting a pro card or something, losing 100
Yeah.
pounds. Not a lot of people can say they've done that.
No, I'm pretty proud of that. I'm pretty proud of losing that weight. And
And staying in a competitive space and getting better. Like those two things are really hard to do.
yeah. And recently I've been going on like doing walks a lot more.
Hmm.
So I've been setting like weekly mile goals that I want to hit.
Hmm.
And the last 2 or 3 weeks I've hit 15 miles a week walking, which has also helped with losing some fat around the legs and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's it helped with my cardio. I'm able to recover after doing hard cardio stuff in like 2 or 3 minutes, which a year ago would have taken me 15 minutes to even come off the ground. So no, I'm pretty proud of my weight loss so far.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. What's your everybody has their strategies, their things they like, right? Like I like to do if I'm trying to cut, I'm a big fan of like the intermittent fasting thing or like low carb stuff because I just don't miss starchy foods if I don't have them. And then intermittent fasting is easy for me to comply with so it's an easy way to cut calories. I don't think it's like I don't think there's anything miraculous about either one of them. They're just easy for me to stick to. But what's been kind of like your strategy for doing this?
So increase the protein because I
Uh-huh.
I didn't used to eat a whole lot of protein. So right now I've been sitting at around 300 grams of protein per day, and then I sit around 200 grams of carbs per day. And that's been working for the last like 4 or 5 months, and I haven't changed anything so far. I'm still losing weight, so I prefer not to change anything. I think my favorite food as of recently would be like chicken Caesar wraps.
Mm-hmm.
Those are just super easy to make. They're pretty low carbs, quite a bit of protein. Have a couple protein shakes throughout the day. Good to go. It's pretty boring, but if you just make it a routine, you get used to it.
Yeah, you'll have to have a live audience if you ever start the Strongman cooking show so that you can
Yeah.
you can dish it out for people.
Yeah, yeah. I've been doing that. So my recent like cooking videos, like the ones I made 2 months ago or whatever, I was bringing that stuff in so like all my trade partners could try it because they'd never tried my cooking before, and they said it was pretty good. I don't
Huh.
know if I believe them, but they said it was pretty good.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So just boring consistency basically is the trick. You just
yeah. You just
add the
gotta want
things
it.
that you need to have and then just do it.
Yeah, I've cut out pretty much all. No, I have cut out like like the full sugar sodas and all that stuff. That was a big thing too, because like when I was 470, I could put down a 12 pack of Mountain Dew, like the full sugar Mountain Dew, in a
Mm-hmm.
day.
Yeah,
Like I just did not care how much carbs and sugars I had. But now like I literally have one rain a day, and that's pretty much it.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, cutting those out, and then you just gotta want it. I want to be better. I want to be at a lighter weight. I want my body to look better. I want to feel better, and you have to sacrifice some things. And for me, it was sacrificing junk food, obviously, and just sticking to a consistent diet and hitting my macros every single day. And it's been working.
is there anything that you left in? Like you mentioned having a rain a day, which, caffeine and strength training go together pretty good. But is there anything that like you kept in just so that you wouldn't lose your mind, you know?
Mm, I would say every once in a while, usually like right before a show,
Mm-hmm.
I'll have like a pizza.
Yeah.
That's like my guilty pleasure is pizza.
Mm-hmm.
But I usually only save those for if I'm going into a show. Other than
Okay.
that, it's just like I'm just so scared of getting back in the routine that I used to be in,
Yeah, yeah.
because food is an addiction. It
Yeah.
can be an addiction. And I'm just scared of falling back into that hole. So I try not to do things that are very addictive. And so cutting out all junk food, I can just stay on that routine. It doesn't bother me. Then every once in a while, just treat myself to a pizza or whatever, and we're
I
good.
also noticed like if you're in a cut for a long time, the most I've ever done is 70. I went from a little under 70, 272 to 205 or something like that. And at the end of it, one day I was at the grocery store and there was Snickers bars and they were kind of calling my name and I was like, I'll have a Snickers bar. What the hell? And I didn't even like it. It was too much. Like I
Yeah,
took a bite and it was like it was burning my face. And then like that weekend I told my wife, I was like, let's get some like steak and we'll make some buttery potatoes or something. And like that was okay. Like I could eat that and it wasn't gross, but like
yeah.
your tastes do change.
Yeah, so like for me, when it comes to like pop and stuff,
Hmm.
the zero sugar stuff tastes way better to me now than the full sugar stuff. They're
Yeah.
just way too sweet.
Yeah, yeah.
I think the zero sugar just tastes like how I remember the full sugar stuff tasting.
Uh-huh.
So I just prefer that stuff now. Same with like Red Bulls and stuff like that. I used to love Red Bulls. Zero sugar Red Bulls I feel like taste way better now.
Hmm.
Now that I've like gotten rid of the bad stuff. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm happy to hear that you've done that because, competitive sports, especially heavy sports, they can break people down. Taking care of your health is a big deal. Like that's huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you done the other things like done sleep studies and that kind of stuff?
No, I haven't done that stuff yet. I probably need to. Uh, no, I've mainly just been focused on losing weight,
Yeah.
and I feel like my quality of life has gotten a lot better. I have a lot more energy throughout the day. Uh, I feel like my sleeping is way better than it used to be. Uh, all that stuff. But
Yeah.
I also feel like losing the weight has helped me mentally too. Because I wasn't very confident in myself when I was 470 or 480 or whatever. But losing the weight, I feel like I'm a lot more self confident, which makes social interactions a lot easier. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah, yeah. So no, losing weight's been a game changer.
It's amazing too. Like a lot of people think that, if they're 400 or 300 and they want to get down, like you don't have to lose that much before you start to feel a lot better. Like
Yeah.
when you were at like 470, 480 and you started losing weight, like how long do you think it was before you woke up and you were like, "Oh man, why didn't I start doing this years ago?"
When I was like 450,
Right.
yeah, it was like 30 pounds in, like 2 months into losing weight. I was like, why
Uh-huh.
didn't I just do this sooner? This is so easy.
Yeah.
you know? And
Yeah.
then like every once in a while, about every like 20 or 30 pounds, I'll hit this like barrier where you sit there for like a month.
Mhm.
That screws you with your head a little bit. But at the same time, you just have to keep in mind that like you've lost all this weight. Your body's just gonna do what it's gonna do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, once I got to like 450, lost like 20 or 30 pounds, I was like, why didn't I just do this? Why did I go up to 480? There was no point.
Yeah, and I've also noticed that those like, those plateaus, they're not always as real as you think they are. Like when you look back at it, you're like, "Oh yeah, I started taking creatine again and I was training a little harder. There was some water retention, like a lot of times it's not even that you were stuck at a plateau for a while, it's just that you had like changes in
You're
life that
building
you didn't want
muscle.
to admit. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's been every time I hit a plateau is whenever I was starting to get heavier in the training.
Mhm.
And so like when I was building more muscle and stuff, I feel like that's when I started hitting those plateaus.
Yeah, so
And
you
I just
got
have
to
to keep that
be
in mind.
give yourself some forgiveness for that, right? Like you got to be
Yeah.
like, hey, this is if you go into a hard training block, if you start doing cardio, if you add creatine, if you sleep more, like you never know what might cause it, but there might be something where it's like you're not going to see that scale keep checking down, even though you want.
No, yeah. You can't beat yourself up over it,
Yeah.
right? You're making progress no matter what.
Hmm.
If you just stick to your same routine, good things are gonna happen. You know?
Yep. Yep. All right. Well, do you want to come back on after the Arnold and tell us how the Arnold went?
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I feel
Yeah.
like we've done it. I'm mostly just gonna lose my voice. I can feel it, like it's starting to go. So I
Yeah.
should probably
Yeah.
wind it up. But I feel like we had a good time. So
Yeah.
thanks
It's a
so
great
much for
time,
being
dude.
here. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me, dude. I had a
Yeah.
great time on this. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, like, comment, subscribe, share. Where can they find you at, Sturge?
The Big Sturge on pretty much everything. I stream video games on Twitch. I do funny videos on Instagram, lifting videos on Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff. So there's the Big Sturge.
All right. Cool. All right. Thanks so much, guys.